Oh, Twitch chat. Hello. How's it going? Kuzuk Rogue, hello. Fanaria, hello. Hey there, Abby. Hello. Captain Sumi, hello. I see you in chat. Hi. If you're new around here, I'm Abbers. I play video games sometimes on Twitch. I also interview other streamers about streaming, and that's what we're doing today. We have a wonderful guest. I'm very excited to introduce you to her. So let me go ahead and show you a clip.
I turn this back on. This is my house. You have to play by my rules. Be prepared. I think there will be a jump scare. Don't forget to breathe. It's very important. You didn't see me. Go away. I need something to step on as well. Something to step on, huh? Who is volunteering? Look at me. And don't fuck it up. The TV's burning! I'm perfect like 80% of the time. Maybe even 90. Oh shit. Ice cream. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. A horrible death. We are all going to die a horrible death. But I will be first.
It's such a good trailer. It genuinely makes me laugh. Everyone, please welcome Captain Sumi.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I'm very well. Thank you. How are you?
I am good. I'm so excited. It's always fun to interview somebody that I'm like, I've known you on this platform for so long, but also I've never actually talked to you. So this is very exciting.
It's been a while since we really talked, right?
Right. Well, I guess because we've technically talked before. You did a podcast for Pride 2 years ago. Is that right?
Yes, I think no, it wasn't last year. 2 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so shout out Sumi for a myriad of reasons, but one of which is that I use Video Ninja for this, and I would not have known about it were it not for you. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. It's a really cool tool, I think.
Yeah, it works really well, honestly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, let's just jump into it from, the beginning. Do you remember your very first stream?
Not the exact stream, but I know the circumstances.
Okay.
It was my husband and I still had our computers in the same room, and I am somebody who jumps into hobbies straight away. So I'm like, oh, this hobby seems cool. I want to do it right now. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did with streaming too. So it was weird because he was sitting next to me, and if he would want to go to the toilet, he would have to walk past me. But he's a very private person, so he would never want to be on camera. So it was always a little bit like, I have to go on a break so my husband can go pee or something like that. And it was all very, very basic. So I had an old webcam, and I had a microphone. I had a good microphone back then, though, because I was doing a lot of podcasts. So that's good. And it was The Sims. I know it was The Sims.
Okay.
All my first couple of streams were The Sims.
Amazing. And when was this?
That was in October 2020.
Okay. You and I started at the exact same time.
Yeah, it was my very first stream was in October 2020, and 1 month later I made affiliate.
Okay.
But that's because I was in a very privileged position. I had already built a community on Instagram. So I'm privileged to say that I never streamed for 0 viewers or less than 10 viewers at a time.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that not many people can say from the start, and I'm very lucky there.
Yeah. And had you built that community then through podcasting, or was it just through posting in general?
Before 2020, I only made German content. I was a blogger, and I blogged about movies that I watched and gave them reviews and stuff. And also my Twitter was German. And then eventually in 2019, I realized that I can build houses in The Sims, and that's content, and I can just offer them to other people. So I started, I had a think, do I want to do this in German or do I want to do this in English? And I went with English because I wanted to meet people from all over the world, which obviously worked.
Hey.
And yeah, so I went with that. And I built this Sims community from Sims content on Instagram and on Twitter. And the content that I made before was German, and that's my blog and Twitter. And the podcasts too were mostly in German.
Okay, got it. And so going from Twitter and going from Instagram to then Twitch, like what were you a fan of Twitch prior to deciding to stream?
Not at all.
Okay, interesting. So what kind of inspired like, okay, I'm gonna try streaming over here, and especially too going from short form content in terms of like Twitter and Instagram to then like long form like streaming.
Yeah. To be fair, I had a YouTube channel in
Okay.
2013, only for a year or something, and did some movie content on there, but that was 10 years ago, and it only went for a year because I couldn't be bothered anymore. Because that's also a thing with me. My hobbies die down. They set aflame very fast, but they also often die down very fast.
I can relate to that.
So
Yeah.
that I'm still streaming 3 years later is like, knock on wood, that's something special.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually never watched Twitch before I decided to stream myself. My husband watches a lot of streams. He's a very different consumer from me.
Okay.
I prefer smaller communities, like so I can chat with people. If a chat is too busy for me, it's not my kind of stream. And my husband uses it more like TV. He just watches. He's not really actively taking part in the community. So yeah, I knew it through him, but I never ever watched streams myself. So when I decided to stream, and I decided to stream because multiple people on Twitter and Instagram were always like, I would love to see the process of you building this beautiful Sims builds. And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's for me. I don't think that's I don't think that's something I would enjoy. But they were like persistent. They really wanted me to see those make those Sims builds. So I was like, yeah, let's give it a try. And maybe I hate it, and 2 months later I will stop, and then it was worth a try.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and so getting affiliate pretty much right away, like, did getting affiliate change your relationship to streaming at all?
It was never really. I mean, it was a goal in the sense of I like to check off things of lists, as in get so and so many average viewers, get so and so many hours watch time. But I never had the idea of. I never went into streaming wanting to make money. Now I'm very happy that I make here and there a little bit of money. It's nowhere near close enough to live from it. But I lost my job in summer, and having like between 1 and 200 euro a month extra is like a nice bonus when you just lost your job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't go into streaming to make money, and being an affiliate was nice because I felt like privileged that I had like the viewership and people actually wanted to see me, but it didn't really change anything for me.
Yeah.
Unless like you count like, oh, I can have my own emotes now and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. When we were talking about that, I think for a lot of people, that tends to be the motivation for getting affiliate more than like the monetization part is just being able to like have emotes, I think is something that
Yeah.
is it's just a fun, I don't know. It's a fun part of Twitch culture, I think, that's kind of
Yeah,
unique to
exactly.
Twitch too. Yeah.
And so many emotes are just like everybody knows what they mean, like a bonk emote. Everybody knows what a bonk emote is, even
Yeah.
though outside of the bubble of Twitch, nobody would know. Be like, what are you talking
Totally.
about?
There's so much vocabulary that way. Like Kappa is one that like there's no reason I would know what that is, but as soon as someone
Yeah.
says it, it's like you know exactly what that means. I sound like I'm like 80 years old. I'm like, oh, Kappa. It's this novel thing. But you know what I mean? Like it's just it's funny
Yeah.
like and one thing that I noticed after I had been streaming for a while is then like the way that like Twitch language started to kind of infiltrate my like day-to-day language, and I was like, well, this makes zero sense to anyone who's not
Yeah.
like part of it, you know. So it's interesting. It's
When
interesting
you talk
being
to
part
parents
of
or
that.
something, and then you realize I should explain what I just said.
Exactly. It's like let me start over. Um, I'm curious about being German and having done content in German to then
Mhm.
switching to English. Are there like I guess what did interactions in terms of social media and like content creation feel like in German versus English? What are some of the biggest differences?
So I feel like I can make better friendships because I'm not that in that narrow bubble of German creators. If I had decided to stream in German, I think it's just a theory. I don't know really. I think if I had tried to stream in German, I would have grown faster
Hmm.
because Germany is one of the biggest communities on Twitch. Like we have the like a big percentage of Twitch viewers are German. And the thing with Germans is they hate their accent. So
Hmm.
Germans are very, very mean to people with German accents because they are so insecure about their own accent that
Interesting.
they feel like it sounds so horrible. We all sound so terrible that they shame you for when you have the courage to stream in your accent.
Interesting.
Um, I got so much shit on TikTok because TikTok puts your videos out to your local area first. And obviously, I have a very thick German accent, and I got so many mean comments about my accent, and they said stuff like, "You should stream in German. It would sound so much more pleasant, and so many more people would watch you." And I'm like, "But my best friends are Australian and Scottish. How do I make content in German and they don't understand me? I want my friends to be there."
Yeah.
So
Totally.
yeah, as soon as I started making content in English, the German followership shrunk down because they hate hearing their accent.
That's so interesting. Where do you think that insecurity comes from?
It's like partly because people think we all sound so angry.
Hmm.
And then there's all those memes about how German words always sound aggressive, and I get it. I personally think it's hilarious. Like
Mm-hmm.
people on my stream coming in and wanting me to say the German word for butterfly, which is Schmetterling,
Mm-hmm.
and they think it sounds so aggressive. Or our word for ambulance is Krankenwagen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like literally the wagon for the sick,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So yeah, many people don't like or just like feel insecure about those memes and this sounding aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I think it's hilarious. I love a good fake German accent.
Yeah, yeah. Don't don't tempt me. I'll do one and it'll be really
Oh,
bad.
I would love to hear it.
Oh
Please
man.
do go ahead.
One day maybe if I'm feeling very brave. My grandma was German. She was from Prussia. And so she had a very specific German accent.
Mhm.
So growing up hearing it, it's one of those things that like me and my siblings will randomly like imitate it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things I would never want to like I don't know. Yeah, catch me on a day where I'm feeling more brave, and maybe I'll do it.
I will try.
Where did your screen name come from? Where did you get the idea for Captain Sumi?
Oh yeah, so um Sumi is short for Kasumi, and that was my favorite character in Dead or Alive. And I'm not talking any Dead or Alive, but Dead or Alive beach volleyball, extreme beach volleyball with the bubbly jumping boobies.
Nice.
And there was Kasumi, which I found so attractive, and I was like, I want to be like her. So I took her
Yes.
name, and then I was Kasumi Necromantic was my nickname for a long time in MySpace times. And
Oh.
then I had an ex-boyfriend, and he made Kasumi to Sumi, and he didn't stick around for very long, like 3 months or something, but the name stuck.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, I like that name. I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, and then I had a German nickname called Chaosmacherin, which means chaos maker, but the female version because the in the end is like gendering in the language. So it was a female chaos maker basically. Um, and that obviously didn't work with wanting to make content in English. So I went with Sumi Builds because I was building sim stuff. And then I realized, hey, I locked myself in with this name because nobody's going to get it if you're not doing Sims content anymore.
Yeah. True.
And I went to Twitter and asked my followers, like, I want to keep Sumi, but I need to add something to it because I can obviously not use Sumi on any platform. That would be so good if I was just Sumi on every platform.
Yeah.
So they came up with there was one option was Admiral Sumi and Captain Sumi, and I liked Captain because I was watching the show Black Sails back
I
then.
love that show.
I love it so
So good.
much.
Yeah.
And I'm also a big sci-fi fan. So I
Okay.
thought Captain would be so cool because it could be like pirates themed, it could be like um ocean themed, it could be like sci-fi themed. And I was like, yeah, Captain it is. And then when I realized Sumi builds is not a good idea if I want to do something else but The Sims,
Hmm.
I tried Captain Sumi and then I narrowed it down to the CPTN because it was available on every platform.
Ah, smart.
I was so excited to have this nickname on every platform. And that's why I'm never going to change my name ever again.
Yeah.
Because I can just say, you can find me on every platform as CPTN underscore Sumi. And it's so
Perfect.
easy.
That's great. I love it too. Like for all the reasons you mentioned, and I think specifically in the Twitch space, like you are the captain of your like
Yeah.
Twitch ship, right? So there's something about it that just it works really well. I like your screen name a
Hmm.
lot. You're very smart when it comes to marketing and social media and like thinking about how algorithms work. Where does that come from for you?
That's funny that you should say that because there's no time. I don't remember a time without social media. Like since I've been using the internet, I've always been like on blogs, writing blogs, all the social media stuff. Mm. But it was never my job. My job was always I was a front end developer
Okay.
until summer last year. And as you realized, I have a big passion for all the social media stuff, and I did it on the side for some of my former employers, like took their Instagram account and created it and built it. But I'm also taking over, like I'm in a Twitch team called the CEOs of Screams,
Hmm.
and I also instantly offered to be the mod in Discord there, and I'm also in charge of the Twitter. I just like making content, and
Hmm.
then I was like, when I lost my job, I had been thinking about making content creation or social media managing my job, even though it makes less money than being a developer. But
Yeah.
sometimes you have to make the decision that makes you more happy than the decision that gives you more money.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I lost my job. I was planning on maybe doing it one day, and now they took that decision from me. They took my job away. So I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get a job in social media management. It hasn't worked so far, but
Okay.
next week I got I'm close. I'm close. So next
You can
week
do
I'm
it.
gonna drive to a company that is like on the other end of Germany so they can meet me in person because we had two interviews already and they liked
Okay.
me, but they promised themselves that they are not going to hire anyone anymore that they didn't meet in person. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come there,
Yeah.
and hopefully, the dream comes true, and I'm gonna be the social media manager for a gaming publisher.
That would be amazing. Good luck.
Right?
Fingers
Thank
crossed. I hope
you.
it goes well. Everyone, go follow Sumi if you're not following her. Go follow her everywhere. Because we want to support you and make it happen. And you're good at it. You're really good at it. Like,
Thank
I
you.
yeah, I because of time zones, I'm not able to hang out with you that much because often you're
Yeah.
streaming at like 6 a.m. my time, and I am not a morning
Yes.
person.
Especially
um,
now that I only stream on Saturdays. I only stream 1 day a week now. Have
yeah.
been for over half a year. So that's very early for you. That's my Saturday 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And that's like so early for
Yeah,
you.
I think that's, I don't know, I'm bad at time because I think I'm 8 hours earlier than you, maybe.
Hmm.
So whatever the math is there.
Yeah.
But that said, even though I'm not able to hang out in your streams a lot, I see you all over the place. So
Yeah.
you're very
Because I
present.
spam.
Yeah, but you're good at it, and you have to, right? Like I heard somewhere, I don't know if this is actually true, but I heard somewhere that the half-life of a tweet is 27 minutes. So
Hmm.
if you don't see that within the first 27 minutes, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
does, but you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
So, it I think that it feels like spamming on, at least for me, if I like do things that
Mm.
often, but like you kind of have to if you want people to
Yeah, you have
actually
to
see
get
it,
over
right?
that feeling, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it has to be something that's so engaging that people will retweet it and react
Mm,
to it over and over, and then it will live a little longer.
yeah,
But still, you have to constantly push content out, and that's very exhausting. It can be, and it can be very frustrating too.
definitely. Definitely. And I think too, like, there's so many different platforms now too, like deciding where to put your focus and energy. Like,
Mhm.
how do you go about that?
I do it in waves. Currently,
Okay.
I'm like more on Instagram.
Okay.
Before that, I was more on TikTok. It's actually I should pinpoint and say this platform I will focus on this for a longer time now, and then eventually switch to another. It would be the better idea to just focus on two, maybe three platforms besides Twitch. Twitch is like you stream and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But like the platforms on the side should be like two or three that you focus on. I don't do it. I should. I don't.
Yeah. It's
So
hard.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah, I try to my short form videos, for example, I always try to keep them under a minute so I can put them on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I could post three-minute videos on TikTok, but I wouldn't be able to post them on YouTube, so I don't have content for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just I want it all.
Yeah. Well, and to make it easier on yourself too, so that you're not
Yeah,
like editing three different videos to,
exactly.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, I think often there's this narrative that, like, if you want to be a content creator, you have to post all the time on all the things. Do
Mhm.
you find that to be true, or is there fallacy in that for you?
It depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Like if your goals are just like number based, you have to.
Yeah.
But that's also very unhealthy. For example, I have not set number goals for this year. I have had number goals for the last 2 years. I crushed my number goals last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My fault. I wanted 2K followers and an average of 40 viewers, and I crushed it.
Nice.
The year before, I didn't. And I still decided to do number goals. And my best friend, Mimela, she was a streamer on Twitch too, is not anymore. But she said, okay, that's cool. You can have this like 2K follower goal and this 40 average viewer goal. But do you maybe want to do a feelings goal too? So I set that up. My feelings goal was I wanted to be recognized as a horror streamer because as I said, I come from the sim streaming, then cozy streaming, and now horror streaming. And for the longest time, since I had streamed horror games for months, and then I would come into streams and people would still introduce me as the Sims streamer, and I'm like, but I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my goal was to be recognized as a horror streamer. So I wanted people to see a horror game and be like, oh, I want Sumi to play this. I want to see
Mm.
what it would be like if Sumi played this, or I wanted people to see a tweet on Twitter where a developer of a horror game says, we are looking for content creators, and I wanted people to tag me. So that
Mm-hmm.
was my goal. And that's something that you can push for, something that is in your hands. If you only focus on your followers and your viewers, it isn't only partly in your control, and that can only be frustrating.
Totally.
So, yeah, also constantly pushing out the content only helps for the numbers, but the numbers maybe shouldn't be your goal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should constantly put content out there if it makes you feel bad.
I also think too, if it's not content that you like or feel
Yeah.
proud of too, right? Like content for content's sake, I think is probably important for people that are making their living off of this, but
Yeah,
also that shows that, like, it is work and it is a job and it's not necessarily fun at times, you
yeah,
know?
it's not love, and people can tell.
Yeah.
People can tell if you are not having fun in your streams and you're just sitting there, and it's more like a chore than really something that you want to do. people can tell.
Yeah.
Nobody will enjoy that kind of quality. You not, your viewers not, nobody will enjoy it.
Have you ever had moments where you felt that way?
I had streams in the past where I ended stream and I was like, yeah, no. That was actually right before I started horror games because um, before I went full horror, I had 3 streams a week. Mondays were for cozy games, Tuesdays for action and adventure, and Saturdays for horror. And my numbers were in June 2022 were low as they have never been before.
Yeah.
And when I would end stream and raid out with 12 people, and I know how that sounds. There are people that stream for 1 or 2 viewers and are like excited if number 3 joins. But I had been higher up before. So when I would raid out with only 12, 11 people, I would end stream and I would cry.
Hmm.
So I was like, what did I do wrong? I'm working my ass off here.
Yeah.
Why are people not coming again? So I took a break. I decided to not stream all of August. And I was talking to friends, and I had joked before that the horror streams always did the best. And I'm like, maybe I should go full horror, but I would never do this. Ha 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 ha. Because I came from The Sims, and so many of my viewers couldn't watch the horror streams. So I knew if I go full horror, I will lose some people because not because they don't like me, but they cannot deal with that.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yeah, you're always joking about it, but maybe you should."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I did, and everything has been so much better since then
Yeah.
because I love what I do, especially since I lost my job. Like this last half year, I feel so good with my streams. Every single stream I end, and I'm like, "That was a good stream," and that's just so much better.
That's amazing. That's great. That makes me so happy for you because it's like it's interesting because I especially coming from more of a kind of like variety background as you do, I would worry about getting like nervous about being kind of pigeonholed or feeling like you're kind of like forced to only play horror. Do you ever experience that?
Not at all. Like I on off stream, I stream off stream. I play lots of stuff like cozy games, Coral Island.
Yeah.
Currently, lots of Stardew Valley with my friend Yip. Um, I if I want to play something else, I just play it off stream.
Yeah.
There were times where I wanted to stream games that are not horror, but what I did is I just made a second channel. The second channel is not affiliated or anything. I'm not planning on getting it there. If it happens, it happens. But I haven't not streamed there in months now. So every time I feel like, hey, this game, I really want to share this with my community, but I don't want to stream it on my main platform because I know the numbers would go down. Because some people, I know many of the guys that are also right now in chat are there because of me, and they would come no matter what I stream. Um, but I know also many come for the horror games. So
Yeah.
I just don't risk it. I don't risk the drop, and I just stream the games on my other channel. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm only streaming for 5 people. Who cares? I'm streaming this game. I wanted to play this on stream, and then just do it on a second platform.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, and I remember the moment that you were like, okay, I'm rebranding, like this is what I'm doing. What is the process of rebranding like? Like what did you feel like you needed to do in order to rebrand?
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool because I had this whole cartoonish aesthetic, and everything was space and cat themed. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want to keep the aesthetic, but I want to make it a little bit darker. And I went with as an inspiration, it was more like a Scooby-Doo kind of theme. So it's like spooky, and like scary, but still cartoony and cute. So that's what I did first. And then rebranded everything. So that's what I do. If I feel like my overlays need changing, I change everything. And I work for hours on end, and I will go to bed at, I don't care, 6 in the morning. I have to finish it in one go. I cannot split it into small packages.
Okay, interesting.
Um, so yeah, I did all of that, and then from there it developed into something more mature and less cartoony. And now I'm back to the cartoony kind of thing. I just made a
Okay.
new logo, and there are like cartoony tentacles coming from there. So it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was there was a drop. There were people who still liked me, but they couldn't come to my streams because of it.
Hmm.
But I knew it was gonna happen,
Yeah.
and then I was okay with it because I set my mind to it, and I was like, this is going to be fine.
Yeah. Well, it's really great to hear that like it's worked out, not even like in a numbers way, although that's great, but like
Hmm.
just in a like it feels good for you kind of a
Yes,
way, you
very
know?
much so. Hmm.
Because it makes it so much more sustainable too when it feels
Yeah.
good for
And my
you.
husband also said, like, but then you have to play all those cheap indie horror games because there are only so many horror games that you can play. And I'm like, where's the
I
problem?
love indie games. Yeah, I was gonna be like, that sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, like on itch.io, I don't know if
Yes.
any if all of you know it, but it's like itch.io is just such a good platform. There's so many good indie horror games. I don't think I will ever run out of games to play on stream.
Definitely not. Well, and I think too, like there's so much about AAA companies and just like bigger developers that like is really icky. I think especially as a woman, especially as a queer person, like don't get me wrong, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, but there's something really lovely about being able to support independent creators and
Yes.
independent developers. And I think too, like being able to like potentially form a relationship with those developers. That's something that's so
Oh
much
yeah.
more attainable, I think, with indie
Yeah.
games, you know?
I love that. Yeah, we have in my community, I have somebody, James from Hunting Human Studio. They make a game called Who Are You? And James comes to my streams no matter what I stream now because he just enjoys my streams and I enjoy his game or their game. There are multiple um, people involved in it, but they are still very small. I think there are 6 people at the max,
Okay.
and they are in South America. And I just love having James around, and I just like they are just very grateful even if you stream for a smaller audience and just be like, look, this game, this is so cool," and you show it to to the people that you have, and I just enjoy it. And also, indie developer have the privilege that they sometimes can just be more free in what they do. So their
Yeah.
horror games are so much better because they do not have to like do it for the target audience, the broadest target audience, but they can
Yep.
just do it for a small audience and can be more creative with the scares that they build. So yeah, I just love indie developers so much.
Yeah, me too. No, I'm totally with you. Itch.io is great. Like in terms
Hmm.
of a resource for indie games, it's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Definitely.
obviously, like content wise, a lot of things have changed since you first started. What are some other things, if you look at like when you very first started streaming versus now, that have changed for you?
My community, they
Okay.
are so naughty.
Oh, yeah.
Um, for the longest time, I had still a very wholesome community, and people would describe me as a cozy horror streamer or a wholesome horror streamer or something. But it developed, especially the last half year. It's just so flirty and like it's just naughty.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so naughty that I had a shared Discord server with a couple of other content creators, um, and it was a very wholesome server, and I still love this Discord. It's my baby,
Mm-hmm.
but my community was not in the right place. Like it was all so sweet. Everybody was so sweet and nice, and then new people who didn't know that this Discord is different than my streams would come
Mm-hmm.
in and be super flirty with people who are like not in my community but in other people's community, and I'm like, we don't fit in here anymore. We need a space where we can be more ourselves,
Uh-huh.
with a non-safe for work kind of channel and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So I moved on recently, and I only a couple of days ago created my own Discord. I'm still active in that other Discord. Shadford Hollow is its name. It's an open. My cat just sneezed. I
It's
just got
totally fine.
scared.
Mine keeps on like threatening to come jump on my keyboard, so you're fine. Yeah.
So yeah, Shadford Hollow is an open community. Everybody can join it. It's very cozy, very yeah. We branded it as a cozy village,
Hmm.
and now I have my own Discord where people can actually be a little bit more naughty.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, we're having a good time so far.
Well, good. I like to hear that. Are there ways that you, I mean, obviously like with the Discord, you just talked about it, but maybe live on stream, are there ways that you feel the need to like rein it in ever? Are there like if things do make you uncomfortable, like how do you approach that?
On stream, it doesn't happen that much. I don't get many trolls, and I feel like people who come in new most of the time read the room and they realize I cannot jump in, and it's like you meet a new person and you have inside jokes with many of the people who are already there, and the new person just tries to fit in and do the same jokes. And it doesn't match because they haven't gotten to know you enough to make those jokes and
Totally.
to but that doesn't happen on my streams, luckily. So people who join in who are new most of the time read the room and adjust slowly and ease slowly into this sex positive tone
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah, I love that. I think that sex positivity is something that's like so important, especially on a platform like Twitch, because you get
Mhm.
so much. I think there's so much slut shamings, particularly for women on
Oh yeah.
Twitch. Like people making these like off the cuff like comments about just chatting and whatnot, and so like to be able to create a space where you can like have a rapport that feels safe for people, but also where people can like talk about these things and, like you said, be themselves. I think that's really important and really cool.
Yeah. I had a talk about that with my best friend recently. She is also very sex positive, but not in this naughty way that we are. So she's also my mod. And she was like, I ask for a ice bucket emote so I can throw it at all of you if you are being too naughty. That's just basically my role in all of this.
Yeah.
And we also talked about if maybe people who are like asexual or just are not into the sex topic at all, if they maybe feel uncomfortable in my streams. And I get that, but my stream is in the end of the day still my stream.
Hmm.
And if it, totally down if you are like, yeah, this is all too sex focused for me. I'm gonna leave now. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, and still have that in the back of my head if people are maybe feeling uncomfortable with so much naughty talk and people calling me a good girl on stream.
Hmm.
Just, um, but yeah, I have to. In the end of the day, I have to do what I feel good with, and if people don't like it, I'm not upset if they feel like they need to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that there's a way to go about that respectfully, which it sounds like you do. Like you're very mindful of that. But also, like one of the things, I think I bring this up a lot because it bothers me. It bothers me when people use the like safe space tag.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I never call my streams or my Discord.
yeah.
I make a point of it never to call it a safe space
Yeah. Yeah.
because I can't guarantee that. I
Hmm.
can try to make it as safe as possible, but I cannot guarantee that there won't be a troll joining chat and being like a jerk.
Hmm.
So
Well, and it's
try
a
not to.
personal thing. Like there clearly are people that feel safe in your chat, and also maybe there are people that don't. But that doesn't mean that you are doing anything wrong either. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Hmm.
And we can't decide, yeah, what makes one person feel safe. I don't think it's possible to make it feel safe for everyone because everyone has different needs. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I love that since you started doing horror streams, from my perspective, you've kind of opened yourself up to doing other things like cosplay lately.
Oh
That's been
yeah.
really cool. So yeah, you guys should go check out Sumi's Instagram because there's some great pictures from your cosplays. But
Thank you.
yeah, for sure. What kind of inspired that? Because you've done a couple of like really cool ones.
Yeah, so the first one that I did, like not last year Halloween, but the year before, I just did like a very basic Silent Hill inspired nurse cosplay where I just put some bandages around my head and I bought this little nurse head and put that on there and streamed like that. But it was a very basic cosplay. I wouldn't even call it cosplay, like, but yeah, and then on last year I decided I wanted to do something bigger for Halloween, and I was thinking, what should I do? So I came up with one of the not Silent Hill, Resident Evil Dimitrescu sisters, and I have red hair, so I wouldn't have to buy a wig. And I was looking up what the costume would cost. And I'm good at makeup. I there was a time where I didn't. There were years and years where I didn't wear any makeup because I couldn't be bothered.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good at makeup. I just don't do it much. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. That's an makeup that has like a big effect with all that blood on my chin and
It's so
like
good.
big
Yeah.
smoky eyes and runny tears. And I did that, and people were so amazed by it. They came in and were like, "Oh God, it looks so good!" And then I have a very intense laugh, and then when I would laugh, they um would be like, "It looks so creepy when you are laughing right now."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it had a big effect, and I was like, "Yeah, people loved it so much. I want to do it more often now." And then I did on my anniversary stream, I did a clown makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I already had the wig here because I ordered wigs before. There was a time where I didn't feel comfortable with my hair on stream, so I would always wear beanies or maybe a wig or something. Um, so yeah, I still had a wig here, and I only needed like black and white face paint and a little bit of rouge, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna paint myself into a clown. And then I started to like this clown aesthetic so much that I did another clown makeup. I didn't wear that on stream though. I did this just for um, Instagram, and I also did a Nadia from What We Do in the Shadows cosplay,
Yes.
but also only for Instagram. I'm still have to do that on stream. My next thing on stream will be a milkmaid.
Oh, okay.
So that happened because my friend, mostly Carl, said there are two German accents. There's the aggressive one and there's
Mm-hmm.
the milkmaid one.
This is so
And you
true.
have the milkmaid. You have the milkmaid one.
I never thought about it before, but that's 100% accurate.
Yeah. And then I went to the stream of Carlton the White, who's also a really cool streamer from the CEOs of Screams. And then Carl came in while I was already in Carlton's stream. And I was like, oh no, Carl is here. He will bully me again and say that I sound like a milkmaid.
Hmm.
And Carlton picked it up and made a poll in his chat and let his whole community vote if I sound like a milkmaid. And he said, and if my community votes mostly for yes, uh, will you do a cosplay for us? And I'm like, okay. And of course they did. Of course they did. So I bought like this traditional German outfit, like this that's actually just a South German kind of thing. But I'm gonna lean into the whole stereotype and gonna go
Yes.
full milkmaid.
I love it. That's amazing. Are you going to
So
play a
that
game
was
during
fun.
that stream or like what do you?
Yeah. But I'm not gonna play anything special. I'm just gonna play the game that I was originally planning
Okay,
to
yeah.
play.
That's great. All right. Again, follow Sumi so that you don't miss this because it sounds incredible. Uh, generally speaking, like now with doing horror and doing cosplays, like what kind of people tend to find you?
Naughty ones.
Okay.
No.
It all checks out. It all makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's through the CEOs, which I joined in April. Yeah, crazy people, Lara says. Um, the CEOs of Screams was a big jumping off point for me. The founder, Tubin Monkey, asked on Twitter if I were to make a stream team for horror creators with a charity focus, who would want to join?
Hmm.
And I've been looking for stream teams for a long time. I've been part of two stream teams before, and I like the content or the context of those two streams, like the concept is what I mean. But I didn't fit in. I wasn't feeling like I had a place there.
Hmm.
So when I heard that Tubin wanted to do a horror team that focuses on charity work a lot, I was all here for it. But the problem was there are horror teams on Twitch already, or there were a lot of horror teams already. My problem with that is that many of them turn into Phasmophobia or Dead by Daylight stream teams.
Mm, yeah, that
And I
makes
don't play
sense.
either of those. And I also don't particularly like watching those kind of streams unless I really like the person. I'm like, if I really love the streamer, I don't care what they play. But yeah, I generally do not watch Dead by Daylight or Phasmophobia streams. So I told him that. I was like, Tubin, I would love to join a horror stream team, but my problem is that they all turn into Phasmo or DBD stream teams. And he was like, yeah, no, I want to make sure there's like a nice balance for all of us. So I joined, and he luckily took me in from the start with the first batch.
Mm-hmm.
And I instantly offered, like, I can be mod in Discord, and also do the Twitter. I also have the YouTube, and I also have the access to the email. So if somebody writes an email to the CEOs of Screams, it's probably me answering.
Yeah, yeah.
um, because I was so excited to build this from the start. Um, and I like being able to influence what kind of stream team it's going to be. I also do, like, when we do applications, I help sort them out and be like, yeah, this person is not there yet, or this person needs to work on this part, or this person we really should take in. They bring something to the table. Um, so yeah, this was a big jumping off point for me. I met so many people through that, within the team, but also within their communities.
Mm-hmm.
And that has helped me so much to meet really cool queer people that are very much into horror. I think my community is very diverse when it comes to sexuality, not very diverse when it comes to ethnicity. I feel
Interesting.
like I have a very wide community,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's also a problem in Twitch itself.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of people of color in my community, but generally speaking, I think most of my community is white.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Because like I think there is more diversity out there on Twitch and just in social media in general than we realize. But when you have your niche and your bubble, I think that does tend to attract like certain people, right? So
Hmm.
it's interesting because like I know for me with this podcast, I try really hard to talk to people that have unique experiences, and I try to uplift marginalized voices. And it's something too that
Yes.
like I think as a white person, I think I really have to like make a conscious effort to go find black streamers, indigenous streamers, people of color, because they're
Hmm.
not going to be like advertised to me. It's not just going to like come to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like is interesting when you talk about like demographics and kind of, I don't know, not only your community, but also just like the community at large, kind of like you
Yeah.
said, you know?
Oh, for people who want like women of color and femme streamers who do horror, there's a stream team called the Scream Reapers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just women of color and femme people of color.
Awesome.
And I always tell people about them because I think it's such a cool team, and they are such cool streamers. Sadly, most of them stream in American time zone, so they go live at 3 a.m. for me, and
See, that
I'm
works
so
for
sad.
me, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but they are a really cool team to check out if you want to watch horror streamers of color for sure,
Awesome.
especially female or femme streamers
Yeah, that's
of color.
great. Cool. I mean, talking about like these kind of aspects of identity, whether it's being white or being German and being queer and being sex positive, like what are some aspects of your identity that come up when you're streaming?
I'm bisexual, but being in a relationship for the past 16 years, in a straight passing
Long
relationship.
time, 16
Yes,
years.
yes, yes.
Wow.
We met when we were 19.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's a straight passing relationship though. So always I have to talk about it. I have to tell people, yeah, I'm bisexual. Not that it's like my main character trait or something, because that's always an argument that some weird people bring. Like, if a gay person is too flamboyant for them, they
Mhm.
will be like, I just don't like if it's their whole personality. It's like, it's not. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I for a long time I identified as pansexual, just because I wasn't aware what bisexuality really means.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought bisexual was kind of trans exclusive, which it isn't, it isn't necessarily. So I eventually switched to bi just because I was so sick of the pan jokes and people coming in and asking what pansexual is, because it's barely ever genuine that somebody comes in and asks what's pansexual.
Mm-hmm.
Usually if somebody asks that, it's gonna be a stupid thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I switched my tag to bisexual
Yeah.
because it's just easier. Yes, I'm a fat woman. I'm overweight. Sometimes you cannot tell, uh, but I am. The last time I weighed myself, I was like 115 kilograms, and I'm like 164 centimeters tall. So I'm like a little planet. So everything is around my belly and my ass, and my
Yeah.
hips.
Love it.
So yeah, that's something. Yeah, what else? Obviously, being a woman is always a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, but I'm like I still see myself as a very privileged person, like as in being in a relationship that is passing as straight,
Mm-hmm.
as being white.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's still some things that could be better.
Totally.
We are still always working on things.
I think that's why intersectionality is so important, because it's like, sure, there are areas where you're privileged and there are also areas where you experience oppression and marginalization, right? And so it's like
Yeah,
none of these things exist in a vacuum, but I think it's interesting to look at the way that that informs how we're perceived and how we operate in the world, because they're very real things. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things that I noticed recently that I think is so cool and I'm excited to talk to you about, one of your goals is to post more like full
Oh
body pictures and not just
yeah,
like
yeah.
torso up. Can you talk a little bit about
Mhm.
that? I think it's awesome.
Yes, it's still hard. It's still hard for me. So
Yeah.
there's another female streamer on my stream team called Willow Leaf, and she posted on Instagram this picture of herself, which was a beautiful selfie where she took a picture of her in the mirror where you can see her dress. And she's a gorgeous woman. She's absolutely beautiful. But she's uncomfortable with posting full body shots. And her goal last year, I think, was to post more of them. Or I'm not, actually not sure if it was for this year's goal or for last year. But I found this so inspiring because I only post selfies. I barely ever show my body. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to see my body, you have to meet me in person. And it's just not, that's not right. It shouldn't be like that. I
Mm-hmm.
should, but I'm trying still. So every time I take a selfie, I also take photos of my whole body and pose with everything. And I'm still uncomfortable. So I look at the pictures and I'm like, no, I don't like it. I don't. And I'm never sure. Is it like the lighting? Is it really my size? Is it what my face looks like from afar? Because I'm so used to seeing myself in a selfie camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never sure, but there are some few pictures of me where I see my whole body and I'm okay with the picture. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't even like, if I look in the mirror, I'm like that's okay. I look fine.
Mm-hmm.
But on pictures, never.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my goal is to definitely post more of myself. And even now, when I try to take pictures like this, I will sit on a sofa and like hold a pillow in front of my tummy or something like
Mm.
that. And it's just like, don't do it. Just show it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot there in terms of like the kind of like thin ideal with regard to like beauty standards and
Hmm.
I think too like women are held to this very like hard standard that doesn't necessarily translate to men. I think men are allowed to be a little bit like bigger and things.
Yeah.
And I think too with fatness, like I'm a fat streamer and I talk about fat liberation a lot because it's something that I really care about. But it's something that like is a very new concept for a lot of people, and I think too people don't realize the way in which like fat people don't have access to things and are constantly being told to be smaller, whether that's physically or personality wise or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think so, you know, to your point, it makes sense that there's a lot of ways that like it feels uncomfortable, and that it's hard to pinpoint where that's coming from, because it's probably not at the end of the day actually coming from yourself, but it's like years and years that all of us have gone through of social conditioning that says like fat equals lazy, fat equals undesirable, fat equals unworthy of love, and all of these things
Yeah.
are total bullshit, right? But I think that like because it's so integral to our media and the way that we're treated, that it's really like it's a very revolutionary act to go, okay, regardless of how I feel about my body in this moment, I'm going to take a full body picture and I'm going to post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's something really cool about that, and I'm
Mhm.
excited for you, and I hope that other people follow suit. And I hope too that it's something that, you know, helps with body image things. I think
Mhm.
for me, the more that I've kind of embraced like taking pictures of myself in that way, and like talking about like sex positivity, like taking like more like kind of like boudoir pictures of my like
Oh
full
yeah.
body, like there's something about that that like feels so empowering for me and so healing, and is something that I think a lot of people would be like, oh, so fat, so brave, you know what I mean? And it's not even like about that so much as like there's something really rebellious and cool about being like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna exist in the body I exist in, you know?
Yes. For me, it even like I only recently started showing cleavage at
Mm-hmm.
all, and like post pictures of myself. I didn't have shirts that showed cleavage, and then I did this Resident Evil cosplay, and I was like, hey, I have a nice cleavage.
Hell
I
yeah.
should show it more often.
Show the booba. Give the people what they want.
And I can tell that it has an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, people will be like, now you got followers because you have boobs.
Blah, blah.
But I had followers before I showed my boobs.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I worked hard for those followers. But I cannot deny that it does give me some attention that feels good.
Yeah,
But that's okay. As long as I'm aware that this is not all of me, and I'm just not only that, I'm
yeah,
okay with people being like, "Hey, that looks good."
yeah, yeah. Because I think feeling positive attention, like feeling good about attention, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And like you said, as long as it's not like there's a line between like someone complimenting you and making you feel good versus this kind of idea of like being fetishized or being objectified,
Mhm.
right? And so
Yeah.
like I think that like we take cute pictures of ourselves because we and post them because we want to be admired, and we want people to like see us in this kind of like beautiful light. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Um, who are some people that inspire you? What kind of streams inspire you?
The first person that I think of if I think of somebody that inspired me a lot is Sharky. Is a streamer. His name before was Lonely Shark Melb. And I entered his streaming journey right before he went partner, like 3, maybe 4 months before he hit partner. And I told him, "You're going to be a partner in no time." And he was like, "Nah, I'm so far away." Um, and then he grew so fast, and now it's barely ever that I get to his streams, and he has less than 200 viewers. Um, and he has this kind of professionalism that I admire. He can. I'm very different in that. I sometimes let people get too close, and I make friendships too fast. He has a more business approach about it. I feel like he is still kind and polite to everybody. He's not gatekeeping anything of his knowledge. He shares everything that he knows if you ask him, and he has time to answer. But he's more professional, so he always keeps a certain distance to his viewers. Um, and I think that's something that I could learn from. But just in general, his streams are so entertaining, and I enjoy his streams so much. Another streamer is Karma. Um, somebody in chat who knows Karma, can you please type the name because it's hard? Karma is in Australia. They are both Australian, funnily enough. Many of the streamers that I watch and many people of my community are Australian because I stream in the evening for Australia.
Oh,
So they
okay.
watch me before they go to bed or something. And
That
I
makes
watch a lot of
sense.
Australian streamers in my morning. Um, So I have a quite a lot of friends in Australia, and Karma's one of them. She is about my size, streaming wise, like average viewer and follower wise. But she has this kind of energy that you feel like this woman was born to be a streamer. Like this is such a big aspect of her life. And I watched her grow. I found her in January or February last year when she was quite small still, and she has grown so fast. Yes, Lara, that's the way you write the name. Thank you. And she has grown so much in the last year. She's always so kind to everyone. She oh, that's one R too much. I
Too
think
many.
it's
I was gonna
two
say, I was
R.
like, I tried and I got it wrong. That's so funny. There.
So she's one of the kindest people that you will ever find. Obsessed with cats, lots of horror.
I'm gonna try one more
Um,
time, but I don't know if I'm gonna get
that
it.
was right. The one that you just did was
Is
right.
it? Okay, okay, cool.
Mhm. I just admire her so much, and she's somebody that I strive to be. And funnily enough, I've told her that in the past, and then she says, but you are that person for me." And I'm like, "I guess we are that
Aw,
person for each other."
I love
So
that.
yeah, she's my Twitch wife. We call each other Twitch wife.
Cute.
And I have a couple of Twitch wives actually, but she has only me so far.
Love that. Yeah, there's something in terms of like networking and well, I want to ask you about your stream team more, but like finding people. How do I wear this? We use this word in Twitch land, community, a lot.
Mhm.
And I think it kind of means different things to different people. But
Yes.
being able to find peers and colleagues and people that like you're able to inspire each other and support each other is something that's
Yes.
really neat. Like I think often we talk about community specifically in this way of like me and the people that watch me, but it's so much bigger than that, and it can be if you
Hmm.
open yourself up to that. And so it's cool. It's cool to hear you talk about your Twitch wives and also your stream
Yeah.
team.
Another
Yeah.
person that I just remembered was mostly Carl. He's smaller than me, less follower, less average viewer, and still I look up to him. Like if I have an idea, I will go to him and ask like, "What do you think of this idea?" Because I just think he's brilliant in what he does. He just people just haven't found him, and I think he has the potential to be someone really big on Twitch. And I find him very inspiring in his ideas, and he has this logic about him. He's not super emotional, so he will give you like feedback that you can work with. Because if you sometimes ask your friends, they even if they try to, they're just too nice
They
to
just
say
love you too
something.
much. Yeah.
Exactly. And Carl, he's my friend, but he still is honest with me, and if he feels like I need to do something, he will tell me in a way that doesn't hurt me and makes sense to me. So even if he's like number wise smaller than me, he's definitely somebody that I do look up to.
Yeah, definitely. What are some maybe takeaways or first impressions that you hope people get from your stream?
I hope they feel welcome, because one thing that I don't like in Twitch communities is I had this feeling a couple of times. I joined a stream and the community felt really nice, and I felt like, hey, this is the community I would like to be part of. But they are so close knitted already that you feel like an intruder and you cannot
Yeah.
join. You
Yeah.
cannot be a part of this. This is already a closed circle. It's a cool closed circle, but it is a closed circle and you cannot get in. And I don't want that. I want people who join to have the chance to join and become part of it. So that's something that I hope I achieve. I try in every stream before I go into the horror games, I do at least an hour of just chatting. So I can read every message, because when I play games, I will miss so many messages.
Sure,
So I'm
sure.
sometimes like 20 minutes behind in chat. And then I will say all the time, if you are new here and you are wondering why I haven't said anything about your message, it's probably because I'm not there in chat yet. I'm like 20 minutes behind, 20, 15 minutes behind in chat, because I want to make sure in the beginning that I read every single message, because I do want people to be seen, because I know how it feels like to write in a chat and then say hi, and the streamer asks you, hi, how are you? And you answer, and the person never reads what you said after that.
Yeah.
That's what I meant earlier when I said I also prefer smaller streams. Um, yeah, so I try to be open. I try to be not so like I have somebody in my community. They are part of a DID system.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people sometimes call multiple personalities, which is not really what it is. It's like you don't. It's just DID,
Mm-hmm.
and they are a system of many people in one body, basically. And when they first came into my chat, they explained instantly, "Hey, I'm this person, and I'm part of a DID system, and there are multiple of us." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. If you need anything else to let me know, please go ahead or write me a DM, whisper me or whisper one of my mods." And they were so overwhelmed with me just accepting what they just said
Yeah.
because they get so much shit for just coming into a chat and explaining who they are and
Yeah.
what people need to maybe adjust to. I'm not saying they hijack the stream and need the streamer to change anything, but
Mm-mm.
they make you aware. And I accepted that. So why would I be they've been banned just for saying who they are.
Wow.
And so that happened so much that they got instantly attached to me because I didn't do that. And I feel like I want to be open and give everyone the benefit of a doubt. Obviously, there can be trolls that come in and do stuff like that, and you
Sure.
can keep your guard up. I do understand, but give people a chance. Like listen to
Totally.
what they say and see if they are genuine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think dissociative identity disorder is one that like is very misunderstood. And
Very.
is portrayed still in the media. Like often it's used as a like plot device to be like,
Always villains. Always
yeah,
villains. Yes.
always villains or always someone that's like kind of quirky or weird. And I think also there's a lot of gaslighting with regard to like, you don't actually, you're just trying to get attention or you
Yeah.
don't actually like feel that way, right? And so I think what you said is so true, especially in a Twitch space. It's like there's no there's no way for us to know what's going on behind that screen name. So when
Yes.
someone has the like, I don't want to say courage because that seems a little bit like infantilizing. I don't mean that, but when someone makes the decision to be honest about like who they are and what they need, like I think it's important to honor that and respect that,
Yes. Yeah.
and I think it's cool when people, the fact that this person does feel comfortable to like share that and
hmm
have you to respond in kind, I think is a really lovely interaction. I think like going back to this idea of kind of like viewers and their relationship to Twitch, I think there are people that are lurkers and that watch it like TV and don't really expect interaction with the streamer, right? But there are
Yeah.
also people that's a big appeal of Twitch. That's what makes Twitch different than TV or YouTube or anything else, is that
Yeah.
you can have this
Socializing.
like, yeah, the social aspect of it. And so I think that like that's something that can be really special and also really important for people. Like you and I
Yeah.
both starting streaming in 2020 which was like this big boom of streaming, like
Yeah.
for me it became very aware that like Twitch was a space that was so important for me during
hmm
quarantine and lockdown to be able to socialize with people, you know?
Yes, for sure. And yeah, with that person or that system, I have like a full list of every person in the system and their age.
Yeah.
And when they come into chat, they will just add their name, and then I will check my list, and I'm like, "You are under 18. You need to leave, or I have to time you out." That's just how we ended up doing this because there are like children in the system, and I'm like, you cannot watch. I'm
Yeah.
not allowing you to be here, so you better leave now, or I will have to time you out.
Yeah.
And then some of them will be like, nah, but that's such a stupid rule, and I'm like, you listen to me now, or you will be timed out. And then most of the time they will just leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not, I mean, I think too, like being aware of your space, like I am very much 18 and up. I'm like, this is not a place for children. And I think that
Yes.
like going from cozy games and Sims to then going to horror, I think it's like
hmm
much more apparent that it's like, no, this is not a space for like
Yeah.
anyone that's under 18, right?
I sometimes say jokingly, like, I'm not a babysitter. I can
Yep.
not be responsible for what you see here.
Mm-hmm.
If you are 18,
Mm-hmm.
maybe leave.
Yep.
If you are 18 or you want to be here, then don't tell me, because I will ban you if you
Yep.
tell me that you are under 18.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I don't stream to be a babysitter. That is not a
Yeah.
desire of mine personally. And like kudos to family friendly streams. That's
Oh
totally
yeah,
fine if that is who
karma.
you are. Yeah.
Karma doesn't swear on stream. So do you know how some people have this redeem where they don't stream, where they are not allowed to swear for 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Karma has the opposite. Karma has a redeem where she's allowed to swear for 5 minutes because she doesn't swear on stream. I could never. I couldn't
I
stream
love
without
that.
swearing.
No, there's no way. Yeah, I mean at work I have to be like, you're at work now. You can't cuss, you know what I mean? Uh you
Yeah.
mentioned trolls and kind of on I don't know. So there's this thing of like giving people the benefit of the doubt, but also dealing with trolls, like mentioning the pansexuality jokes and things. Like
Mhm.
how do you engage with trolls? What do you do about trolls when they come into your chat?
My mods have very clear guidelines what's okay and what not, what is not. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have a 6 pages PDF as a guideline for my mods where they can find all
Wow.
the commands and every edge case that I ever experience, how to go on with that. Um, if somebody comes as a first time chatter to chat and asks, "Can I ask you a question?" My mods start to sharpen their swords.
Uh-huh.
They're giving them a chance. They're always giving them a chance. We are waiting for the question.
Yep.
And if it's something that we are expecting it to be, because most of the time it is, we will just ban them. I don't get many trolls. I got like 2 people who wanted me to burp on stream, but I'm not sure if that was a troll or if that was a kink thing. But it didn't have a place in my stream, so um, I feel like people need to be more comfortable with banning people if they make you uncomfortable,
Yeah.
even though it's not in your rules. If like this person makes you like somebody comes into my stream and says, "Can you burp for me? How many subs for you to burp for me?" Um, it's clearly not in my rules. You cannot make me burp or something,
Right.
but it's still something that made me uncomfortable, and it came out of nowhere. And as a first time chatter, it's a weird thing to say, so I will ban them anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't have many trolls. 2 weeks ago, I think I had 3 trolls in one stream, and it was so weird to me because usually I get like maybe one every 3 months or something, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 3 people in one stream. What's happening?
Yeah, it's so
And I'm
weird.
also very well prepared for hate raid. There was this like big hate raid wave.
Mm-hmm.
I never had one. I never had a hate raid. Um, but I have a button on my stream deck, like it will switch the scene, post a message into chat, run 3 minutes of ads,
Mm.
turn chat to subs only, turn off all the alerts. But I never got to use it.
Yeah.
But I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad you never had to use it, and also it's one of those things. It's like it's good to just have it, just in case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you never know. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Interesting, like what first time chatters think is okay. Maybe like it
Mhm.
goes back. You said it really well when you're talking about rapport and this idea of like you haven't been here long enough to have that kind of rapport with me where we can talk to each other that way, you know?
Exactly.
So it's interesting. There's this etiquette on Twitch that I think varies from streamer to streamer. And I'm very much with you. It's like if something makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't owe it to anyone to keep them in your chat. And I've had moments where it's like, I feel a little bit guilty about that. And I feel like
Yeah.
maybe I've like come on too strong, but at the same time,
Mhm.
like, I'm very adamant that like if it isn't a safe space for me, what is the point? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if it's not a space that like I want to be in, then like why why do it at all? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had a situation recently in Karma stream because I mod for her.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a regular in her stream who was from Israel, and he said something about it being weird to watch me and that they are not comfortable watching me.
Mm.
And it hurt my feelings so much because I was like, I understand where you're coming from, but I've been working so hard all my life to be to be not that. And if it was a like just a random stranger, because I had a random stranger come into my chat recently and be like, I don't know if I can forgive Germany yet. And I'm like, I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like, that was just a random stranger. But this person was like somebody who had already gotten to know me, was in my streams, know how I talk to people and know how I talk to them. And that they felt comfortable saying that hurt me so much.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Karma and I was like, that made me cry. I have not stopped crying for 2 hours because it hurt me so much. It just like, and now I look at it and I feel so bad because Karma banned that person because she didn't want me to be uncomfortable. And now I feel like sometimes I still think about it, if that's really worth it. Should I have talked to that person maybe
Yeah.
before we did that? And but now it's too late and they have probably moved on. But I still think about it sometimes, like, should I have reacted that way, and should I have asked Karma to maybe ban, and I didn't ask her to ban them, but she wanted to because we are friends and we are like close friends, and she wanted me to be comfortable. But I still feel guilty sometimes
Yeah.
that somebody was banned because of me. It,
Yeah.
when they really, maybe they meant something completely different. Maybe it was very innocent and just a misunderstanding, but I didn't give them the chance to explain. I just said not cool and didn't talk to them anymore.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard because you're having moments, you're having interactions like instant in the moment where you don't necessarily have time to like think of how to react, and so you just kind of
Hmm.
have to react. So I feel you on that, and especially if it's something that someone says that hits a raw nerve, whether or not it was intention, like it hurt you, and that's valid. You know what I mean? I think too, like there's something interesting to me, not to like hyper focus on that interaction, but there's something interesting to me about anyone saying, I don't feel comfortable here. It's like, well, then leave. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
sometimes there are people that like come in, like I was playing Cuphead, which I eventually beat, but I'm not good at it. It's a very difficult game. And
Yeah.
so if you come in on a Cuphead stream, what you are signing up for is 3 hours of me doing the same level over and over and over again and maybe not even beating it.
Yeah.
That's what you're signing up for. And so I remember having someone come in, they're like, this is awful content. This is terrible. I'm like, then leave. There are
It's
millions
obviously
of
not
other,
your
yeah,
content
there's
then.
millions of other places you can go. But to your point, I think that like miscommunication can happen, misinterpretation can happen, and also like people will judge your space and judge you from a place of stereotype sometimes, and it's not necessarily fair. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
so I'm sorry you experienced that, and
Yeah, thank
I
you.
don't know. I hope that person is okay, and I hope that you're okay
I
because
hope so
it's
too. I
hard, you
really hope
know.
so too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, this kind of leads into that. Do you ever feel any pressure or anxiety around streaming?
Not anymore. Might come back.
Yeah.
Uh, I did for a time where streaming felt more like a, I have to go online now,
Mm-hmm.
and then I decided to not go online anymore if I feel bad. That was when I still did 3 streams a week, and then I would be like, I'm not in a good headspace today, and I just know it wouldn't be an entertaining stream, and I just feel like would have to stream now, and it wouldn't be entertaining for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I only stream once a week, I don't have that feeling anymore as much. Like yesterday was the day where I was like, should I stream? Should I maybe? I also have a PNG tuber ready for if I don't feel like being on camera.
Yeah.
I barely ever use it. But yesterday I was like, so I've either have to use the PNG streamer or I just don't stream.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, I did stream normally. I put my camera on. I put just a little bit more makeup on than usually because what it was more comfortable for me.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there are days where I feel like, no, today is not a good day to be live.
Yeah.
Uh, But lately, I've been pushing through those days because I only stream once a week, so that's only 4 streams a month.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels worse to not stream then because there are so few streams at all. So, but it luckily it has been going well. Every time I pushed through lately, afterwards I was like, thank goodness that I streamed today. 2 weeks ago was a day where I was like, oh, I felt hungover without having had a drop of alcohol, but I was still feeling as if I had.
Yeah.
Um, and I pushed through, and then I streamed for over 6 hours. My streams are usually like 3 to 4 hours,
Yeah.
unless it's a planned longer stream, like a 12-hour stream or something. Um, but this stream was so fun, and that game was so fun, and my community and me, we had such a good time that I just pushed through and was very happy afterwards that I did do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's one of those things that's like kind of a gamble sometimes, right? Because it's like you don't know if it'll be the kind of thing where you're like, ugh, I knew it. I shouldn't go live today. But
Yeah.
it's very real that there are times where it's like, oh, like I had such a fun time and it lifted my mood and
Yes.
I'm so glad. Um, I'm curious too, how has it felt going from 3 streams a week, which is a lot, three down to one?
Yeah, it was funny because I had lost my job and I thought now is the time. Now I can stream. And maybe I will stream even 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so much more time now while I look for a job. Why not use that time to stream more?
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't. And then I couldn't because I had like, before I had this structured, I was always working from home. So it's not like I came home and then streamed, but it was still like this clear structure: 8 hours workday, have dinner, start streaming. And it's a very simple structure, but it was still a structure. With me not working anymore, I was in front of my computer all day doing all the fun stuff that I like to do while looking for a job, of course. But like, I was able to do all the content because I had so much more time on my hands. And I couldn't press live on Mondays and Tuesdays because it would have been the time after work. And since I didn't have work anymore, I couldn't go live.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, guys, I think I can only stream on Saturdays because Saturdays there was never work. So the structure was just I wake up, I have breakfast, I stream.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then originally planned to do it only for like maybe 1 or 2 months or something. But my streams went so well.
Yeah.
Like, people, you always tell people, if you give if you are asked what tip would you give new streamers, one thing that you hear a lot is, um don't stream too much because people need to miss you. You will run out of topics to talk about. Just stream 3 days at the max.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did tell this to people who were unhappy with how their streaming was going, I was like, stream less. People need to miss you. They need to be like, oh, I'm so excited. And if they know you will be there tomorrow, they might as well just say, I don't have to go today. I can just go tomorrow.
Yeah.
But with
Yeah.
me being only there, I never thought that this would work with only one stream because I was sure streaming only once people will forget about you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will just they will, it will I was ready for the drop in viewers. Was prepared. I braced myself, but it didn't come. The opposite was the case. People would come. Many of my American viewers cannot come for the start. Many of them come like in the middle or right at the end, and it's always a little bit sad. And some people are like, "Oh, I can never catch you." Like, I'm very sorry. And I was initially intending to go back to 3 days a week, but this one day I'm thriving. I'm thriving with one day a week.
Yeah.
So I'm not planning on changing that anytime soon. And now Saturdays are Sumi days. People come to my chat and say Happy Sumi Day, everyone, and it's just
Cute.
like this big thing. And I don't plan on going more than unless I'm not planning to get partnered. This is not a goal of mine. If I hit all the quota for it, I will apply. Um, but it's not a goal. And if I get close viewer wise, I obviously have to stream more because you have to stream a certain amount of days and hours
Mm-hmm.
to be partnered. But only then. I don't think I will otherwise
Yeah.
stream more than 1 day a week.
Yeah. Well, and I know you're looking into doing like social media kind of God, what is the word? Help me.
Professionally
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
job.
yeah.
Yes.
Would you want to make streaming and your own like personal content creation your full-time job at some point?
If I could, for sure. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
never rely on only subs.
Yeah.
Like that's I think if this is your goal, becoming a full-time streamer and content creator, you cannot rely on subs or on Twitch or on YouTube because there could always be something like why people do not sub anymore.
Totally.
So you need something else, like a passive income, maybe a an Etsy that runs really well, or even though Etsy is also very unstable, so people have been having losing their Etsys without having a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be something. But the safest thing would probably a contract with
Mm.
a sponsor or something. And if I wouldn't have that, I would probably not do it because I would feel too unsafe because I cannot rely on only subs. But if I could, if I had like a sponsor and they do like a contract with me for I don't know 2 3 years. I don't know what the normal thing there is. I never had a sponsor. I don't
Yeah.
know anything about that. But if I had this passive income that's like stable, I would love to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and with that, this kind of being in this kind of in between place of like I would love to do it, but also I know that it's not necessarily realistic, but also being I think someone who has a growth mindset and has a very like intricate knowledge of the numbers and all of that. Like how do you maintain kind of a balance or stay grounded in it?
I didn't for the longest time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
was very
hard.
hard for me. It was very. I only recently started to. But that's maybe also because the numbers have been going so well.
Mm.
But I'm constantly every stream before every stream I'm like today might be a worse stream. You might only have 20 viewers instead of 40 viewers. Keep that in mind. Don't be upset if it happens.
Mm-hmm.
I go into it sounds weird, but I go into every stream expecting the worst.
Mm.
Just so that I can only go up. So it's either like exactly what I expected or it's much better.
Yeah.
But I never go into the stream and be like, I will definitely have 40 or more viewers today and I will get such a big rate. I really go into the streams with a negative mindset, which is
Mm.
weird because you should be like some people tell you like be manifested, be
Mm-hmm.
positive, or be comfortable. Just be comfortable with having less viewers. But I can I cannot. I cannot fully be like, yeah, I would be okay with having suddenly only 15 viewers when I had like an average of more than 40 lately.
Yeah.
So yeah, expect the worst and be surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think that it would be I don't know. I think it would be kind of a lie if anyone said that that didn't disappoint them on some level. Like
Hmm.
anytime someone says that the numbers don't affect them at all, I question it.
Hmm.
Which is not to say that there aren't people that like genuinely don't have that motivation or whatever, but the it would feel it makes sense that it feels kind of bad if you have less viewers than you're used to, and it
Because if you wouldn't want viewers, you would just not stream. You would just play
right.
for yourself, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Middle-aged millennial, thank you for the bits. It's very sweet of you. Yeah, it's interesting the way that numbers I think the idea somebody told me this phrase once, but like to be educated and not affected, I find is fascinating. Like so to be aware of your numbers, to be aware of what works for you, but also not to let it like affect your sense of self-worth, I think is the
Yeah.
important thing. And it's hard.
Hmm.
It's not easy all of the time. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
definitely.
Twitch chat, now is the time. If you have any questions for Sumi, go ahead and type them into chat. I'm sure there've been a few, and I'll try to scroll up and catch them. But if you already asked a question, you have others, type them into chat, and we'll get into them right now. Um, Sumi, what are some of your hobbies or passions outside of streaming?
Movies
Yeah.
are a big thing. Before I started streaming, I would like the podcast, for example. I had a podcast called What to Watch Challenge. And I had this challenge where you have a monthly topic that's divided into the week topics. So you could either watch a movie for every week of the year or a movie for every month, depending on how much time you have to watch movies or how much time you want to spend watching movies. And I made a podcast out of it. And uh, there was something, yeah, I watched I still watch a lot of movies, but not as much as I did before. Then the whole content creation was a thing before I started streaming too. And then, as I said, I dive into hobbies so much. I did like DIY model tiny models, build those. I even built some of those on stream for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, Currently, I picked up cross stitching. I have a cross stitch right here, but I cannot show it because it's a birthday present for somebody who might be watching. But yeah, I have been
Intrigue.
studying cross stitching. Um, yeah, I just pick up a lot of hobbies and often drop them again. But it's okay. I don't. It's not like I grieve those hobbies. I just had a nice time with it, and then I pick up something else.
Yeah,
But yeah, as I said, the fact that I've been streaming for 3 years is big.
that's really cool. That's really cool. That means it's something special, definitely.
Yeah.
What kind of movies in general do you tend to love?
I am very open genre-wise, decade-wise, country-wise. I like to watch movies from all over the world. So I'm very open. Horror is a big thing, obviously. And the thing with horror is it's so subjective, just like comedy.
Yeah.
You laugh about different things, you are scared of different things, so you have to watch a lot of crappy horror movies to find the gems.
Okay.
But sometimes you find a gem that everybody else doesn't think is one, but for you it is one. So but I also enjoy this aspect, so I'm happy to look through some very bad horror movies to find the good ones that I personally find good. Not everybody will agree with them. Yeah, horror is good. Action, not so much. Comedy is also always hard. I have a very specific kind of humor, I think.
Okay.
But action movies have a hard time with me.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. As I feel like there's kind of a Venn diagram between like horror and action movies sometimes,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. For
Yeah.
example, yesterday I watched the Batman movie from 2 years ago,
Okay.
The Batman with Robert Pattinson as
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
And it was so good.
I've heard I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's really good.
Because
Yeah.
I don't like comic movies anymore. I don't like
Yeah.
superhero movies anymore. I'm so fed up with them. There are so many.
Yep.
I want them to go away and I want to have a great musical era. Like I want the golden
Ooh.
age of musicals back and it doesn't happen.
I know, and
But
I
yeah,
don't think
Batman was
that
really good.
Mean Girls is going to help with that. I'm deeply disappointed and very upset about it, but yeah.
Oh.
Maybe it'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm cynical, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
But
that.
yeah, like there's some overlaps in action and horror, but most of the time I don't enjoy action movies.
Yeah. Well, and I think too with comic book movies, it's like they've been cranking them out so much the last few years that it's like make it good. Like that's kind of an example that we're talking about of just like making content for the sake of making content and
Yeah.
making content for the sake of money. It's like no, like make tell good stories. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want.
Yes. And that's what made Batman so good. My husband even said while we were watching it, this movie has a surprising amount of plot. And I was like, yeah,
A
it's true.
surprising amount of plot. That's
I was like, that's such
amazing.
a good review actually to summarize this movie.
That's really funny. Let's see. Heather Heck says, "When are you going to kiss me on the mouth?" Asking for a
Heather.
friend.
Heather, whenever you want.
Oh,
Just come by, just come by.
love
Heather
it.
is another one of my Twitch wives.
Oh, cute.
Absolute fantastic streamer. The voice of an angel, the look of a devil. Uh,
Mm.
Yeah.
Incredible
And
description.
I'm here. I'm here for her.
That's so funny. Had you not warned me that your chat was a little bit naughty, I would have been like, is this appropriate to ask? Um,
Yeah, that's the vibe. That's the vibe.
I love it. I love it. Laura Rage Quit says, how do you manage being so amazing? Okay, not a real question, but it has to be asked.
I am not. But thank you.
That's not true. Okay, real question from Laura Rage Quit. Would you ever try a makeup stream on your cozy channel?
I actually was thinking about when I did my 3 years anniversary stream and did that clown makeup, I was debating, should I do this makeup on stream
Mm-hmm.
as part of the stream?
Yeah,
But then I was like, I need to really focus because it was such a symmetrical makeup with like a black triangle here, and everything had to be so symmetrical. And I was like getting anxious about the stupid faces that I make when I put on makeup. I
sure.
don't think I would be comfortable doing it.
That's
Maybe
fair.
eventually, because there was times where I thought I wouldn't be comfortable singing on stream, or my cat is making so much noise right
That's
now.
okay. Yeah.
Um, there was a time where I thought I wouldn't be able to get myself to sing on stream, or I have a freeze cam redeem
Mm-hmm.
where people can freeze my camera and my face freezes in the most ugliest positions. So I'm comfortable with that now. So maybe eventually I would be comfortable with doing makeup on stream, but I don't think I'm there yet.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Let's see. Alpha Wolf says, who is your favorite and why is it me?
It's you, Alpha Wolf. It's you, of course. And it's because you are the naughtiest of them all. It's like this, the Queen of Snow White.
Mm,
Like she's the most beautiful, and Alpha Wolf is just the most naughtiest.
love it. Love it. Heather Heck says, what horror movie does Sumi like that other people seem to be in the majority that not like?
Huh, let me think. There was one that was called Starry Eyes, which I found really good, and I think it had like bad reviews.
Mm,
There was about a young actress that wanted to go big in Hollywood, and then somebody would. It was like the whole Me Too movement woven into a horror movie, but
mm,
then she sold her soul to get big in Hollywood. There was a good one, and I think people didn't like it. And there's another one that's called Cam, which is about a cam girl who gets like those creepy people watching her streams, her kinky streams, which I enjoyed, which also people didn't like. Those are like two that come to the mind instantly.
yeah. Yeah. Let's see. We have some musical shout outs. Moulin Rouge, Sweeney Todd. I will say recently, I thought Into the Woods was very good. So we have had some good last five
Yes.
years.
I
There have
thought
been good
I hoped
ones.
that La La Land would do this big musical wave, and then it
Yeah.
didn't happen. I was like, would have been such a good start into this area that I want.
Yeah. Yeah. Color Purple coming out, I'm excited for.
Oh, I didn't know that there would be a musical for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, because it's been a musical on Broadway for years and years, and so yeah, well, it's kind of like Mean Girls. It's like, why are we redoing this movie? It's like because it's a musical.
That's a good reason to
That's a good
remake it, if you
right.
ask me.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Let's see. Heather Hacks has never been more flattered by a description. It was a very good description. Let's see. Lara Rage Quit says, "Is he the naughtiest? I'm gonna get a bit jelly here. I thought I was the naughtiest."
No,
No.
Lara was just the starter of things. Like Lara was ahead of her time.
Hmm.
There was a time where Lara was the only naughty person in chat, and I made an exclamation mark naughty command basically just for her.
That's amazing.
But now chat has adjusted to her, and I feel like Alpha Wolf is ahead of her. I guess
Hmm.
you have to battle it out.
It's gonna be, there's a running tally every day. Maybe
Yeah.
it changes, you know? Um, I'm just scrolling back up. Okay, and Alpha Wolf, love your accent for the record. Which is
Hmm.
lovely. Let's see. Salute Baton says, I love watching people play scary games. My wimpy butt can live vicariously through them. Do you find that that's
Yes.
true? That people that are like too scared?
Many.
Yeah.
Many of my viewers don't play horror games. I don't even play horror games off stream.
Yeah,
I can only play horror games on stream because there are basically people with me there.
that
I know they're
totally
not
makes sense to
physically in the
me.
room, but it's completely different than playing it alone.
Yeah.
I would be a little bit more comfortable now playing horror games alone.
Hmm.
Movies not a problem. I can watch the weirdest movies, the creepiest horror movies ever alone. Games completely different.
Yeah.
Games suck you in so much, and you are the one who has to act out the things. I can only do it on stream. But yes, many of my viewers do not play horror games or particularly enjoy horror games also.
Yeah.
My mod, Mimella, jumps with every jump scare and she doesn't get numb to the jumps. So when she clips a very scary jump scare, she jumps every single time the jump scare comes up when she's editing the clip again. So yeah,
Amazing.
there are some scaredy cats in my community.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I get what you mean about like there being people there. Like I think for me, I love playing multiplayer games and generally speaking, like playing single player games prior to streaming wasn't something I focused on quite as much. And then streaming, it was like, oh, there are people here with me, so I feel like we're like
Yeah.
playing together, you know? It's
That's
nice.
the same when Mimela was still a streamer. She might come back to streaming, but she will be
Mamella's
on
a
YouTube
sweetheart,
then.
by the way. Mamella's great.
Yes, she's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. And
Yeah.
she, when she comes back, when she was streaming, she started streaming because she wanted to play single player games, but the aspect of gaming that she enjoys is the social aspect. So she would
Mm.
always play co-op games. And there were so many single player games that she wanted to play, but she wouldn't enjoy playing them alone. That's why she started streaming to give single player games a kind of social aspect. And I thought that it was such a good idea, such a good reason to start streaming,
Yeah.
that I always think of that when I think of the social aspect of streaming.
Totally. Totally. That makes sense. Going back to before what we were talking about of just being like, I think femme presenting and like sex positive, Fanaria said, I also feel like desirability plays into success for mask streamers as well, but it gets ignored in the boob discourse.
Yeah, like people are like, you only get so many followers because you have boobs, but nobody's ever like, you are just getting so many followers because you have such a fucking handsome face.
100%. And it's like you're a white boy with a generic handsome face. Probably this
Yeah.
is why you're like
And it's always the people who are like, I it's a stereotype, but it's sadly like, it does come from a reason.
Mhm.
The people who come at you and be like, you only have viewers because you have tits, basically, and then you go to their Twitch and you look at their streams and it's they literally only press live. They press the going live button and they do nothing else. They
Yeah,
don't talk, they seem bored. They they literally just, it's like you could just sit in your living room playing a game.
100%.
You just don't press the live button and it's exactly the same.
Like, go boy, give us nothing. Like, that's like
Yeah.
what it
So,
is. And then
so
you're mad that people don't want to hang out with you. It's like,
yeah, it's
okay.
like, maybe you should think about what you're doing, my friend, rather
Yeah.
than putting your energy into offending people just because they are not your gender.
Imagine.
Uh,
Imagine
make
putting
it
that
better.
energy into like making your stream better. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. And Fanaria also says, how many subs to make you do X is always an uncomfortable interaction. Yeah, it's just weird. Whether it's like to make you burp or like I had someone come in that
Yeah.
was like, how many subs to make you watch this video or to listen to this song? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going
Like,
to.
no, none at all.
None at
Don't
all.
even
It's not
bother.
going to happen. Priceless. And then yeah, middle-aged millennial says, interesting. I'm least likely to be able to catch your Saturday streams as it's my usual dating day, but right now it's Monday and I'm free. Hooray!
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Alpha Wolf
Middle Age is from
also mentioned.
Indonesia.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Middle Age is from Indonesia, so she was always in my Mondays and
Oh,
Tuesday streams, and she cannot make the Saturday streams sadly that much. But
yeah.
I love her very much.
Yeah, the time zone thing, it always it's
Yes.
just like makes it so hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Well, and also Alpha Wolf earlier in the chat echoed what you said about like I love Sumi Day, like we look forward to it, you know. So
Yes.
I think there's pros and cons to it in terms of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, wanting to connect with people from Indonesia or people in the United States and also doing what is sustainable and feels good for you, you know.
Yes. And I'm
Yeah.
very happy with that right now.
Yeah. Good. I love that. Let's see. Talking about naughtiness, good, love it. Streaming horror games gives me so much more bravery, Heather Heck says. That makes total
Oh, yeah.
sense.
Heather plays a lot of horror games too, but Heather doesn't like lock herself into this genre, so she does also play um visual novels, and Baldur's Gate was a big thing for her for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, Heather also has a lot of horror games.
Love it. Okay. And Heather, thank you. I see your very nice compliment and I appreciate it. You're very cute. Let's see. Gold Exile says, I love Sumi for who she is and the game she plays. She has a wholesome community.
Super wholesome. Yes, Gold.
So
Just tell
wholesome.
that to yourself.
That's great. Um, what are your first time chatter red flags? And Heather Heck says, can I ask you a question? Is one of theirs.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's always the first time chatter that is just like, can I ask you a question? The question, can I ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
is always weird because just ask the question. Because if you have to ask, if you can ask the
That's
question,
true.
is it maybe not appropriate to ask the question?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's something. Puns are 50-50. Like
Okay.
sometimes somebody comes in with a pun and it's very innocent and they are just trying to break the ice and come in with a pun and see if our humor connects or not. But sometimes it's also a pun and you're like, maybe say hi first and like, but so it's 50-50. Not always when somebody comes in with a pun it's weird.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, I think the can I ask a question is the biggest thing. I cannot think of any others from the top of my head right now.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think you said it well. Like just ask it if
Yeah.
if you're concerned, maybe there's a reason you're
It's the same
concerned,
with
right?
DMs. When somebody slides into your DMs and just says hi, I'm like inclined to not answer at all.
Totally.
Like
Same.
I have my DMs closed now on most platforms. Because if you want to talk to me, send me a friend request, and if I feel like we can be friends, I feel like you are deserving of
Yep.
being my friend,
Yep.
I will take the friend request and then we can DM. But I've come to the point where I don't accept DMs from strangers anymore because especially if it's just hi, just state what you want. Because if you say hi, you pressure the person that you say hi to into starting the conversation that
Right.
you wanted to start.
This reminds me of dating apps, which I just like abhor. They are the worst. But it's the same kind of thing where it's like, what are we just gonna do the like hi, how are you in a circle for till the end
Yeah,
of time? Like, what are we doing
yeah.
here?
Just start if you want to start a conversation, then
Start
start
a
it.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Hey there, Abby says, how do you fix a broken pumpkin? I feel like this is a joke. I feel like there's
This is
a
I
punchline
have no
coming.
idea. I don't know how to fix a broken pumpkin.
With a pumpkin patch. That's pretty good. That was
See,
pretty good,
that's
Abby.
kind of cute. That's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
kind of cute.
cute.
I like that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Amazing. That's
Oh, and
so
then
good.
you can see their gold exile said Kumi.
Uh-huh.
That's something that happened in Karma's chat, which is weird because Karma, as I said, is very wholesome and doesn't swear and there's nothing naughty in there.
Mm-hmm.
But Captain Sumi was shortened to Kumi, and you know how that reads.
Naturally. Yeah, no, it's totally logical and very wholesome, and certainly it
Yeah,
isn't implying anything else.
not at all.
I love that. Um, what are some things that maybe have surprised you since you started streaming?
Yeah, the fact that Germans hate the accent. I wasn't
Yeah.
aware that it would be such a big thing.
Well, I have a question for you actually. Do you hate your accent?
Not anymore. Like
Okay.
you know how every all people hate to hear their voice.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I've watched my VODs back so much just to see if I can improve things.
Yeah.
I'm so used to hearing my voice outside of my skull, because that's what it is, right? You don't like your voice, what it sounds like outside of your skull, because you're only used to hearing it from your head.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so now I'm so used to that. I don't hate my voice anymore. I don't hate my accent anymore. There's Tangia has this thing where you can speak like a 5 minute script, and then you have a text to speech bot that has your voice.
yeah.
It doesn't sound completely like me, but there are some words where I'm like, yeah, that sounds like me, because it cannot deal really well with the German accent.
Interesting.
But since I heard that, sometimes I listen to my voice and I'm like, hey, I sound like that bot when I just said that. No, I don't hate my accent anymore. I am okay with my accent. I know that I will never get rid of it, uh, unless I put like a lot of work into it. And I'm okay with that, because people outside of Germany do not care. And I also,
Yeah.
I'm not saying every German hates my accent, right? I have like
Sure.
Phantom Gamer as one of my mods. Lara, who's in chat right now, is also German. Not everybody is like that, but like most of the people who do not like my accent are Germans. And everybody else either does not care or loves it. So
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'm okay with it. And
totally.
I like Alpha Wolf has a great fake German accent. I love hearing it because it's so stupid. Uh, and it's just fun. I love all the stereotypes about Germans, and sometimes I lean into them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember a clip of yours where you were talking about voice acting and how you wished that more companies would reach out to streamers and things
Yeah,
about voice
because instead
acting.
of using AI voice,
Right.
there are so many content creators who would do it for free.
Yeah. But you
Um,
made a joke in that I feel like some people would be uncomfortable with, but I thought it was very funny.
Yeah, I said that with my voice and accent I can only play the evil Nazi villain,
Hmm.
because like they would want to, the German accent just works so well for the villain role.
Right. Right.
Um and many people would maybe not just randomly cast a German voice for the main character or something,
Yeah.
unless it's like part of the story.
Right.
Um but yeah, I'm down. I'm okay. I can play the villain if you want me to play the
That's
villain.
funny. Yeah. But there should be more representation of varied accents and things. And obviously, like, I think because most games are recorded initially anyway in English, right? There's kind of this
Mhm.
like assumption that it should be an English speaking accent of some sort, I guess, if that
Yeah,
makes
either
sense.
British or American,
American.
sometimes Australian, but also Australians are like more rare
Yeah.
than British English or American English.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lots of feedback. Everybody loves your accent. Everyone's super into it.
Yeah.
I kind of derailed you with that question. Are there other things that have surprised you since you started streaming?
Oh yeah. How how much I like horror games, because as I
Yeah.
said, before I started streaming them, I couldn't play them. My husband always had to play them for me, and he would not play all those indie horror games. He
Mm.
would just play Alien Isolation maybe. He didn't finish Alien Isolation. He was too scared. Um but yeah, he would play them for me and I would watch them hiding behind my blanket.
Hmm.
But now I stream them all myself, and I stream so many more horror games that I never thought I would play, that I never thought I would enjoy. I have turned off my filter for screaming.
Hmm.
Like when something scares me now, I scream outside of stream.
Hmm.
Um, it's just like more entertaining for viewers if you scream. Not necessarily. There are streamers who do horror games who do not stream, and their viewers love them just as much. But my niche is the screaming streamer. But I do it in my free time. Like when my husband is suddenly behind me or something drops, I will scream, and then he's always making fun of me. Like, there's the streamer scream. It's like, because before I would just gasp if I got scared, but now I don't just gasp. I just scream because the filter is gone.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Well, and
So that's
actually,
something
oh, sorry, go ahead.
that's like changed, and that has surprised me, that it translate into my everyday life
Yeah.
basically.
Well, I was just going to say, so what is the kind of line between your kind of public Twitch persona versus your like personal life, like
There's
version of
not much,
yourself?
honestly.
Yeah.
Like when I talk, what people sometimes say if I'm in a one-on-one call with somebody, like Yip, for example, who I mentioned earlier, we play a lot of Stardew Valley together, and then we just talk one-on-one in a voice call. I talk differently to him in a one-on-one, and then I talk as an entertainer. Um, but as my personality wise, that sounded very German. Personality wise,
Mm-hmm.
um, there's not much of it. I feel like I'm very much myself. I don't. Sometimes I'm a little bit too much myself. I don't have enough of a guard.
Mm.
I make friendships too fast. I think I said that earlier.
Yeah.
Um, and I tend to overshare. And I saw a TikTok recently where somebody said oversharing is not a thing. It's just what people tell you, what boring people tell you.
Hmm.
But I think it is a thing. You make yourself too vulnerable sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on that and not be as open about things, but it's hard for me. Like it just comes out. It just comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Heather says there are so many things I wish I could unsay that I've said on the internet, which I think a lot of us can relate to that for
To
sure.
me, that's actually not for me. And
No?
I also I know some things that Heather is referring to, and I also think she should not wish to unsay them
Hmm.
because I love her the way she is, and she just says it's just herself and open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rude as fuck. No, no, no.
Amazing. No, but I relate very much to oversharing and being vulnerable because it's not necessarily a conscious decision on my part so much as I'm just a pretty
Yes.
open person, and I'm also a very sensitive person. So like
Hmm.
I think that I do very much wear my heart on my sleeve. And this idea I think of making friends too fast, where does that kind of come into play with regard to like parasocial relationships, and how do you deal with that?
I had a thing recently. Uh, I think I don't want to talk about that
That's okay.
because it's too fresh. But it was something where I was letting somebody too close to myself,
Yeah,
um, and I indulged in it because I liked the attention. But it got to a point where I was not feeling comfortable. But yeah, I don't want to go into that too much.
totally. That's okay. Well, and I think it kind of goes back to this idea of like anything that makes you uncomfortable, regardless,
Yeah,
it's okay to just shut that down. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any kind of pre-stream rituals or like post-stream rituals? So things you do to get ready or to like wind
Yeah.
down and be done?
Mm-hmm. So before stream, sometimes my husband is like, "Do we have breakfast?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have time for that." And he's like, "Your stream is in 2 hours." And I'm like, yeah, I don't have time. I can't. No, I can. It's like my brain is already in streamer mode. I cannot have breakfast now. I cannot watch a TV show with you right now. I
That's so
just I
funny.
have to get ready.
That's
And it's
amazing.
so much time still. Um, I'm getting better with that. So I do my makeup and test my commands, see if my OBS works, if my mix it up works. Try to see if my follow alerts work and stuff like that. Then when there was a time where I was feeling self conscious, where I feel like when I'm like, what if nobody's coming today? What if
Mm,
you start stream and nobody's chatting? And you just have to talk to yourself all day, which is something that I'm trained to do.
sure.
Most of us are as streamers, but it's still something that you're not particularly enjoy. You would prefer if somebody is talking to you and you can bounce off of that. Um, yeah, so that's something that I do. But the after stream care is much more important. So I end stream, I rate into someone, chat for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna lurk now. I have to do my after stream stuff. And then what I do is I do a thumbnail for my stream because I highlight all my streams and keep them around as highlights so they will never disappear on me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I go through all my clips and see what people clipped, and I also take little markers while I'm streaming when I'm like, hey, that was a funny moment that I could make into a clip, and then I will see, was that really worth it? Should I make this into a clip? Then I will see I will go through all the people who followed me and see if somebody is there that I should follow back.
Mm.
And I will sometimes something that I love to do is going to streams of people who rated me
Mm.
to see in the VOD what they said about me.
Yeah, I've done that before. Yeah.
I do this all the time. And then I'm so sad if they deleted the VOD or they didn't save it, or
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like, yeah, we are going to rate Sumi. I like her very much. Let's go.
Hmm.
So it's not like negative, but it's also not like hyping you up.
Yeah.
But sometimes you go to those streams and they say such nice things, and it's such a nice ego boost.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing that. So that's why I always go to the streams that rated me and see what they said before they rated me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Then I will go through my Discord and see what notes my mods have taken throughout the streams, things that I need to fix, or stuff like that. Notes that they took for me.
Hmm.
We'll see what people said in my Discord, and then slowly I will be ready to leave the computer. So that usually after stream, I'm still here for like 1 or 2 hours on my
Wow.
on
Yeah.
my computer to do all the after stream stuff.
Yeah. And that's the stuff that people don't see, right? Like, I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, there's this outside perspective stereotype that's like, oh my God, you get to do content creation. You're just playing video games all day. What a dream job. And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, but
I wish.
also there's so much more that goes into it, especially if
Mhm.
you really do want to like make content creation. I mean, and not even necessarily living in your part, but it's very clear that this is something that you like take seriously and that you're really
Yeah.
passionate about. And so it's cool.
Yeah, I
It's just cool to
do. I
get your
really do.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heather says it's so hard to set boundaries as a streamer and even harder to justify moving them as things happen. A lot of us are such people pleasers that it's easy to tolerate far too much. That's very
Yeah, because
true.
sometimes you set boundaries and you are comfortable with those boundaries at the moment, and the person never breaks those boundaries,
Yeah.
but then you feel like your boundaries have changed and you want to move them, but it's so
Yeah.
hard to make them realize that the boundary has changed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was the case with that person that I talked about earlier. Um, and they still don't understand, I think, and I'm not sure if I can ever make them understand, because I also don't talk to them because I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so setting boundaries and also being able to narrow them or widen them
Yeah.
is like a thing that can be really hard.
Totally. I think just recognizing that they can be fluid and they can be negotiable, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes a boundary for you, a boundary that you set for one person doesn't necessarily be a boundary for every person.
That's a really good
And
point.
then the person that has a different boundary might feel like they deserve the same boundary as other people, but you are not all the same.
Yep.
We are not all the same.
Yep.
Like the things that I say to Heather, for example, or that Heather is allowed to say to me, do not apply to every other person, even
Yep.
though it maybe did apply to you in the past, but now it doesn't anymore. And you need to accept that this doesn't apply to you anymore, and you cannot be like that to me anymore. You cannot say certain things to me anymore.
Yeah.
And I get that it's hard to understand,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a thing.
It is. It is. I think. Yeah. No. I think you said that really well. Because like I have some people in my real life that will hang out in my stream, and it's a boundary to not bring up like real life stuff in some
Oh
ways. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
And at the same time, I like one of my best friends is one of my mods, and so we've known each other for years and years, and so we can say really weird things to each other, and it's
Yeah.
totally appropriate and fine. And if a
Yeah.
random stranger on the internet said those things to me, I'd be like, "Whoa," you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah, I
but
think
even if it was somebody that you've previously allowed to break that boundary, and then
yeah,
you're like, okay, I don't want that anymore. I want to build this boundary back up, and you need to accept that.
hmm,
It's like yeah, it's not only about strangers, it's also people who need to adjust to your boundaries changing.
yeah, absolutely, I agree. Twitch chat, thank you so much for all your questions and your y'all are just they are pretty cute and naughty. I'm not gonna lie.
Right? The
Yeah,
cutest.
it's true. Sumi, do you have any advice for your younger streamer self?
No, I did everything the way I should have done it.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do. I like the journey where it led me, and where I am at this point, I'm very comfortable. So I guess I did it all the way I should have done it.
I love that. I love that answer. That's amazing. Do you have any goals or projects coming up that we should know about?
My goals for this year, as I said, I didn't set up number goals this
Mm-hmm.
year. My goals for this year are doing more full body pictures,
Mm-hmm.
posting them online, finding brands that I want to work with that align with my values. Very important. One of them being snack ties, for example. I really want to work with them. I did send them an email, and they do not have the kind of cooperation that I was talking about to them. But they are like a company that I like. Generally, just find some companies that would like to work with me, but also I don't want to sell my soul for it. So like
Sure.
so many streamers, for example, have energy drink stuff like
Yeah.
corporations, and that's not me. I don't drink energy drinks. I drink
Right.
I drink this which is like also caffeinated, but they don't do sponsorships. So I already checked.
That's
What
funny.
I would like is like maybe a tea company. I love tea,
Yeah.
and that would be something that I would like. And then what was my last goal? I had three goals, but I forgot my I
That's
forgot one.
okay.
Let me quickly check. I
Sure.
have it right on. Seek a partnership with organizations that align with my values. Regularly, oh yes, the cooperation with other streamers.
Okay.
I personally don't like streaming co-op,
Mm-hmm.
but I would love to join my friends on their streams, and I've done that already. I've played with my friend Nurse Sass. I played some Lethal Company on her stream. I recently played with somebody from the CEOs of Screams. Phasmophobia, which I never thought I would play, but I was like, "Hey, let's make that the content. You teach me this game that I know nothing about, that I do
Yeah.
not care for." And he played with me, and it was so much fun. So I want to do lots of co-op streams this year.
Love that.
Not necessarily on my stream, but on other people's streams.
Yeah. No, that's great. I had a question. What was the name of the company that you mentioned that you emailed?
Snack tights. They sell tights and like lingerie
Oh, I know who
and
you're
stuff.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like for people of all sizes,
Yeah.
and I love them. I have lots of their
Their tights
tights
are
because when I wear
great.
dresses, yeah, because they don't itch. They are just perfect. Like
Yeah.
even for somebody of my weird shape, my planet shape.
I love it. No, that's great. They're a
Yeah.
great company. So
They were also
fingers
very
crossed.
nice about it. They're just the kind of partnership that I was looking for is just not something that they are looking for right now, but they were very
Yeah.
nice about it, and I will support them wherever I can because I really like the way they present their products. The Instagram account, there are women of all sizes. They're like really fat women, really skinny women,
Yeah.
and I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah, same. No, they're great. They're great. Manifesting similar things for you, if that even is
Yes.
a thing. Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up with a little 10 question questionnaire for you.
Okay.
So this is 10 final questions inspired by James Lipton, Bernard Pivot, and CJ the X. So just kind of like off the cuff, first thing that comes to mind.
Mhm.
Captain Sumi, are you ready?
I am hopefully ready.
You're going to crush it. I can tell. It's going to be great. Which game or activity do you love to stream the most?
Screaming.
Okay. Which game or activity do you hate to stream the most?
Struggling in puzzles.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
When somebody calls me a good girl.
Uh huh. What turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
When somebody that I just met calls me a good girl.
Yep. Which streamer would you like to meet most in real life?
Uh, Heather and Karma.
What's something that you would like to try on stream but you never have?
Cooking.
What's something you would never want to do on stream?
Stripping.
Okay. Why do you go live?
To build communities.
Follow up question. Why do you really go live?
Because I like the attention.
Same, girl, same. Final question. You're on your deathbed. You know exactly how much time you have. You have any and all resources available to you. Viewer count doesn't matter. Commercial viability doesn't matter. None of that matters. What do you do for your final stream on Earth?
Just chatting. I just want to talk to all of my people, be
Love
naughty
that.
together, laugh together.
Cute. Aw. Sumi, thank you so much for this. This was so lovely. It was
It
so
was
nice getting to
fun.
know you more. Again, if anyone out there is not following Captain Sumi, treat yourself. Go do it.
Thank
And
you so much for having
oh my
me.
God, my pleasure. With that, I would love to pass the love on to somebody that you would like to raid. Is there anyone online that you'd like us to go hang out with now?
That's so exciting. Oh my goodness. Yes, I do. Nurse Sass. I
Okay.
want to rate Nurse Sass.
Would you do me
She's
a
also very
favor?
naughty.
Could
Yes, I
you
can.
type that in the chat for me?
Mm-hmm. Let me go back. She is currently playing Outlast 2. Just finished Outlast 1, the the DLC of Outlast 1.
Perfect. And so, chat, here is a little raid message that we can spam in chat. Let Nurse S let you know that Captain Sumi sent us. Let me get this raid going. Thank you, by the way, to all of Captain Sumi's people for the follows. It's so nice to get to know you all a little bit more.
Don't you dare unfollow tomorrow.
If you like this sort of thing, we do Why We Go Live about every other week, so like twice a month here on Sundays. And again, follow Captain Sumi if you're not following already. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. And yes, please, please, please let Nurse Sass know that Captain Sumi sent us. If you or someone you know would be a good guest for Why We Go Live, you can send an email to whywegolive@gmail.com. You can follow Why We Go Live on Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz. And then Sass has the best trigger warning currently. Okay, be wary of the trigger warning, I guess. Bye. We're gonna go, and I'll see you later. And love you. Thanks for being here. Bye. And we're rating, and we're spamming chat, and we're not